What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today is September 28th, 2025, and we are taking an in-depth look at Litecoin, or LTCUSD. There is a tremendous amount of buzz surrounding Litecoin right now, primarily centered on the potential approval of several spot Litecoin ETFs. First, we'll dive into all the latest news and headlines that are shaping the market sentiment, and then we will jump straight into the charts to see what the price action is telling us. The news cycle for Litecoin is overwhelmingly bullish at the moment. Multiple sources, including Bloomberg analysts, are forecasting a very high probability, somewhere between 68% and 90%, of a spot Litecoin ETF approval from the SEC by October 2025. Applications from major players like Canary, CoinShares, and Grayscale are under review, and an approval is widely expected to unlock hundreds of millions in institutional inflows. This isn't just speculation. We're seeing tangible evidence of institutional adoption. Earlier this month, on September 10th, Lite Strategy announced a massive $100 million treasury move into Litecoin, acquiring nearly 1 million LTC. This follows a trend of growing institutional interest, signaling major confidence in Litecoin's future as digital silver. On-chain data further supports this bullish outlook, with reports showing that large whale wallets have been accumulating LTC during the recent price dips. However, it's not all one-sided. The SEC has also been targeting crypto treasury firms, which could create some short-term regulatory friction. Furthermore, Litecoin's price action is still heavily correlated with Bitcoin, which remains somewhat range-bound, posing a potential headwind for all altcoins. So, with that context set, let's pull up the charts and see how this news has been reflected in the price. Here on the daily chart, we can see the full picture for LTCUSD over the past year or so. After a massive run-up late last year that peaked around the $147 mark in December, we saw a significant correction through the first half of 2025. The price established a clear bottom on August 5th, with a dramatic capitulation candle that saw a low of just under $50. This event was marked by a huge spike in volume, often signaling that the sellers have been exhausted. Since that August low, Litecoin has been in a clear and steady uptrend, carving out a series of higher highs and higher lows. This recovery has been strong, taking the price from below $50 to a recent high of over $119 just last week. Now, let's zoom in on the action from this month, September. You can see this strong push up to the resistance area around $119.50 on September 19th. This is where sellers stepped in, and as mentioned in the news reports, we saw a sharp drop at the start of this past week. That drop is clear on September 22nd, where price fell over 7% in a single day, breaking below the $110 level. Since then, the price has been consolidating and attempting to stabilize. The articles we reviewed mentioned a crucial support level around $102 to $103, and you can see that's precisely where the price has found its footing over the last several days. This $102 area appears to be a critical line in the sand for the bulls. On the upside, the $116 level, which was a prior support area, now acts as the first major resistance we need to overcome to continue the uptrend. Switching over to the 1-hour chart, we can get a much clearer view of this recent consolidation phase. For the past few days, Litecoin has been trading in a relatively tight range, broadly between our key support at $102 and resistance around $106 to $107. Each time the price has dipped towards that $102 to $103 zone, buyers have stepped in to defend it. This repeated defense of a support level is a constructive sign, suggesting accumulation is occurring here. A decisive break and hold above the top of this range, say above $107, would be the first short-term bullish signal. Conversely, a break below $102 would signal that sellers are regaining control and that a deeper correction could be coming. Dropping down to the 15-minute chart gives us an even more granular look at the current price action. Over the last 24 hours, the price has been choppy, bouncing around within the larger hourly range we just discussed. We can see multiple tests of the lower and upper bounds of this micro-range. For day traders, This presents opportunities to trade the range, but for most, this indicates a period of indecision before the next significant move. The market is essentially waiting for a catalyst, which everyone believes will be the ETF news. Okay, let's switch back to the daily chart to recap and look ahead. To summarize, the fundamental and news-driven sentiment for Litecoin is extremely bullish, centered around the high likelihood of an ETF approval next month. The technical picture shows a strong recovery from the summer lows, followed by a necessary and healthy consolidation after hitting resistance near $120. Let's recap the most important price levels to watch. Your critical short-term support is the $102 to $103 zone. If that fails, the next major support levels are around $98 and then $96. On the upside, immediate resistance is at $116. A break above that level would target the recent high of $119.50 and then the psychologically important $130 level. Now for our unbiased predictions. Given the powerful narrative of the upcoming ETF decision, the bullish scenario seems the most probable. I'd give it about a 75% likelihood. In this scenario, Litecoin holds the $102 support and, fueled by positive news or a market-wide rally, breaks above $116. This would open the door for a test of $130 and potentially the analyst target of $150 by mid-October if an ETF is approved. The bearish scenario, which I see as less likely at around 25%, would be triggered by an unexpected ETF delay or denial, or a major Bitcoin sell-off. In this case, a confirmed break below $102 on the daily chart would signal further downside, with targets at $98 and $96. The most important thing to watch for is any news from the SEC regarding the Litecoin ETF applications. This will be the primary driver of price in the coming weeks. Also, keep a close eye on Bitcoin's price and whether it can break out of its current range. That's our analysis of LTCUSD for today. Thank you for watching Explain the Charts. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.